Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Bus Drivers Route podcast for episode 8 of the Real World Explosion. I am your host, Brian Cullen. After one of the most, explosive episodes we've seen in Real World in quite some time, I had the chance to speak to Jackie Chan herself, Jenny, about all the festivities that went down last night between her and Brian and some of the other drama that took place. So I'll get to that in just a quick second. But first, let me tell you to follow me on Twitter, @BusDriversRoute. Go to busdriversroute.com and subscribe to my YouTube channel. All right, let me just get straight to it. So here is Jenny. All right, so first off, I just hope you don't hold it too much against me that my name happens to be Brian as well, so if you don't get any bad vibes from this.
That's okay. I can put it aside for just this interview.
Okay, good. So first thing I got to ask, though, is where did you learn the kicking technique? Because that was the most impressive kick we've probably seen in Real World history.
That surprises me, because it wasn't my best, but thank you for the compliment. I actually took Shoei-ryu karate when I was like a wee lad, and I got to a red belt, which in Shoei-ryu really is like I think it's only like the first or second belt, but my dad is like all into whooping ass, so he would always like teach me how to whoop ass, I guess.
Wow, so you were fully trained for this. You're ready to go.
My dad is like, he's all about that stuff, yeah.
All right, so leading up to all that, going into the previous episode when they had the little boys' night out, what was the conversation that you and Brian had going into that about kind of where you thought the relationship between you two stood at? Were you guys exclusive, or was it still kind of a little in between?
Well, we've been off and on for going on 5 years now. When we stopped talking actually until they flew him out for his an interview for the show. Like I want to say a week or two before the show actually started, and I considered us back together at that point because we commenced. We slept together and we talked about it, and I felt like we were on the same page that we were going to get back together. And I was nervous because the real world thought that we had broken up, so I was worried that they were going to be upset that we'd gotten back together. But oh well, fuck it, right? And I got on the show. When I got in the house, Brian was the first person that I had called because I was trying to make sure that we were still on good terms because right when he went back to Kansas City from L.A. from when he got there for the interview, I found out that he had went back to dating this girl that he was seeing prior to coming to L.A. So I was like just distraught and just actually went a little crazy. And
right.
But then after that he told me that he knew that I was the one, quote unquote. So when he got into the house and I found out that he was back seeing that girl, I was just so confused, right? Because I had stopped seeing the guys that I was dating when he came to L.A. So that's when I just went haywire, went with Corey, and then, Brian had sent, they didn't show this in the show, but Brian had sent me flowers. My birthday was like a week or two into the show, and Brian sent me flowers and chocolates, and while I was, with Corey, all this was happening, so I was really confused whether Brian wanted to be with me or didn't want to be with me. But of course, I'm not gonna show exclusivity when he's not.
Yeah, absolutely. So then, when he did move in the house, though, and you guys kind of got back on terms, you went out for your like 5-year anniversary dinner. You seemed to be fully back together. In your mind, were you 100% back together?
Yeah. He came to me and told me that he didn't want me when it was guys night and girls night. This is the first night that we were going to go out separately, and wanted to make sure that I was going to be a good girl and I wasn't going to go dance on any guys or get any guys' numbers. And I said, well, first of all, you don't really have to worry about that because I like to dance solo anyway, and that's kind of like my thing. But as far as getting guys' numbers, no, like I'm committed to you. I want to be with you. But apparently it wasn't a mutual feeling.
No, apparently it wasn't, because then he hooks up with a girl that night and then tells you about it at the restaurant, I guess, before you're going to eat dinner. So was there any thought to you that, to at least give him a little credit that he is being honest with you, that he did tell you and he didn't try to just hide it from you for the rest of the time you were out there?
I give him 100% credit for being honest with me because that was a big deal to me. Like, if it wasn't for that, then I wouldn't have paid him any mind beyond that point going forward.
Mm-hmm. In your mind, though, is let's say this was in actual life and there weren't cameras following him around when he did it, so there was really no way for you to find out. Do you think he would have still told you? Eventually,
yeah. It might not have been right away.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So it seems like a lot of the ways that you two kind of get at each other is when one of you screws up, the other one tries to screw up even more to get back at the other one, and the other one does the same thing, leading to a massive blow-up. Is that kind of what happened when you went out to the club and started hooking up with the German guy?
Exactly. In psychology, they call that a tit for tat, or my dog's bigger than your dog. That's actually that's what a lot of couples do. I think that it's. I mean, to be real mature about it, it's not mature. Like, it's doing that and kind of like having a pissing contest of who can piss each other off more is not very constructive. It's just kind of doing what you feel, what would make you feel good at the moment, as opposed to doing the actual right thing, which would have been to not try to piss each other off.
Has that always been the way things usually work between you two the past over those 5 years, that when one of you does something, the other one really just tries to get back even harder?
Yeah, and honestly, beforehand, it got a lot worse since we had broken up, because when we were together for a solid 2 years, it wasn't really bad like that where we were like out kissing other people. That never happened when we were solidly together before the show. Like, something happened when we got separated, where things just started getting even nastier.
Right.
I'm sure the show had something to do with it too.
Yeah, absolutely. So the guy that you were hooking up with, that German guy, it seemed like, this kind of just a sidebar, but it seemed like you did kind of steal him, I guess, from Hailey or whatever. Was that the real thing, or was that just editing, trying to make something out of it?
Absolutely not. What happened was, I remember specifically, and I'm kind of upset they didn't show this footage, because this is what actually happened. We were downstairs. There's a 2-level bar, and we were downstairs, and it was the beginning of the night. And me, Jenna, and Hailey, I think Jamie might have been there. I'm not 100% sure, but I know for a fact that Jenna and Hailey were sitting next to me, and I saw this guy, and I specifically, and it's funny that Hailey said the guy in the red and white shirt, because those were exactly my words. I said, see that guy in the red and white striped shirt? I claim that guy. I'm letting you girls know now, because there seemed to be this recurring trend with Hailey kind of going after the guys that I had been going after. It happened a couple times prior to that at different bars, but I never let it get to me, because Hailey and I apparently have a similar taste, not with Tom, but, just with the guys that we were trying to go after. And my eyes were really on Brian anyways, and I didn't want to let dicks get before chicks, so I was 100% like, who cares? I didn't let it bother me, but it upset me that it made me look like I was stealing Hailey's guy, when specifically I had claimed him first. And that's the whole point of when you're out with your girls, it's always a good code of ethic, I guess, to let other girls know when you see a guy that you want to go after. It's always good to let your girlfriends know. That way you avoid any kind of messiness like that.
So I know you mentioned this in one of your talking heads, that it was because he's German, he has a German kiss, kind of similar to a French kiss, but with more passion. So I know you got a little trouble in this in the after show when you were comparing Brian and Corey. So now if you throw the German guy in the mix, who would be the best kisser of those three?
Brian, of course.
Okay.
I mean, the German guy is cute, but no, Brian's the best. And actually, to go with, I'm glad you brought that up, because I was a little hateful and nasty at the after show, because Brian and I had just done an appearance at a club in Kansas City shortly prior to that after show filming, and he had done some not so nice things at the after show. He got a little wild, and it hurt my feelings really bad. And I was this is again me pissing on his piss party, trying to be the tit for tat thing. I was really pissed, and I shouldn't have even answered the question when they asked me if Brian was better in bed or Corey was better. I should have just said none of your business, because that's not really something that's the world's business anyway.
That's what I fully thought was going to be your answer. I was stunned that you actually answered it. That was the most shocking part. Not really the answer, just that you did answer.
Yeah, it's not. This is not a pun at Corey. Like, I'm not trying to put Corey down or anything, because Corey and I were good friends at the time. So I would rather give the trophy to Corey than Brian at the time. But honestly, what my relationship is with Corey or Brian at any time, Brian's better. But I just wish I wouldn't answer the question, because then it just causes all this unnecessary drama after the fact, and I didn't want that to begin with. But I felt like so obligated to answer. I was like on the spotlight, and there was lights and I got nervous as hell. I did not even want to answer.
Gotcha. That's understandable. So back at the house, again, before the big fight, you guys were arguing, whatever. And one of the best things as a viewer between you guys arguing is the way you throw out these absolutely insanely creative analogies and metaphors for each other. And one of them, Brian, called you a squid that is pulling down on his boat. So if you had to compare him to a fish, what fish would he be?
Brian's a killer whale with a oversized blowhole.
Oh boy. How do you deal with, like, I know you do it too, to be fair, but it seems like he's more the Shakespearean kind of big language words in an argument. Like, does that ever get aggravating when you're talking with him?
Yeah, because sometimes I feel like he uses words out of context, and I don't understand what he's talking about sometimes. So I feel like when we get into arguments, it just doesn't go anywhere. It goes in circles sometimes when he goes there with his broad vocabulary and his extensive philosophical mind.
It's great when he goes on one of those rants where he's talking for like 3 minutes, and at the end of it, we have absolutely no idea what he's talking about. So
I feel for the editing crew, because I know when we were arguing and fighting for like 3 straight hours, and you'll see me like walk away, be like, I can't do this anymore. I can't, because I have the attention span of a fucking gnat, so I can't like pay attention that long. So when it comes to me staying focused in a long conversation with his lesbian talk, I just get really aggravated. So I feel for the editing crew for editing all that down into like 2 seconds.
Yeah. Difficult job. Yeah. So it seemed like everyone in the house kind of sensed that things were getting very, very close to blowing up between you two. And then finally, when he called you a dumb bitch, you slapped him and slapped him again, and then all hell broke loose. So after that moment, was there any like just rational thought of calming down in your head, or were you just adrenaline pumping, ready to go at every moment?
Was there any rational thought in my mind after slapping him?
Yeah, just trying to like get yourself out of that situation and walk away and get away from it, but just not able to get away from him at all.
Yeah, there's a moment where I come to my senses and I realize, it probably wasn't the best idea to slap the shit out of him on TV and, sidekick his ass. It's probably not the best course of action. And there's a moment where I have to rationalize myself, and violence should never be the option. I unfortunately grew up in a house full of violence, and my parents are very violent, and especially my dad being kind of like an advocate of violence, and I've seen my mom whoop ass. So it kind of makes me, a lot of times it becomes my course of action. I used to be really violent in like high school, but then like after that I actually got my shit under control, and like I used to go to anger management as a kid, and like there's been a lot of therapy and like counseling with psychologists, and I know in my mind that it's wrong, but I resort to it when I'm at the breaking point of breaking insanity.
Who tried to talk you down the most during that whole thing? I think we saw Ariel trying to break it up most. Was she really the one trying to separate you two the most during that whole thing?
Ariel and Corey, they are definitely the ones that were breaking up fights a lot. Corey trying to get in there. I think Ariel has always been the solid voice of reason. I give a lot of credit to her for kind of bringing me down to the producer. When the producer comes in, that's when it's time to get serious and shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Listen, because you might go home, you might get sent to a hotel that night. That's when time to like really listen.
Right. Yeah, I was gonna.
Go Marlene.
Yeah. She got a nice showing. So I was asking to ask that because, obviously people have gotten kicked off for doing a lot less than you, and some people stay for doing more than you. So was there ever, like we saw the conversation about maybe you staying at a hotel for that night, but was there ever a question to you that you might have been kicked out for that?
Yeah, I actually had a couple talks with Jeff, the co-executive producer. He pulled me aside a couple times and said, "Jenna, you're gonna have to really cut the violence out." And at one point after that, I cut it all out 100% because when every single human being has self-control, but it's to a matter of how much is at stake when you need to put that. I mean, obviously, if you're facing going home, then all of a sudden you have a lot more self-control than you had before.
Right.
So until I had that talk and like where I was just about to go home, until that point I was just kind of wild, and then I kind of got shit under control. I do have the ability to control myself, but at the moment when I let my emotions really get the best of me.
Was there ever a conversation with the producers with the rest of the house, asking them about their opinion, if they wanted you to stay, if they thought you should stay? Because we saw that obviously with Ashley early on in the season. So was there any conversation like that happened?
No, not really.
Was there? Yeah. Okay. So I also know that when Brian first got here, he said you wanted to like vote him off or whatever. Is that ever a real option that you could just try to get everyone together and vote him off, or is that just you not wanting him in the house?
I don't know who started that rumor. Supposedly you can't vote anyone out. Like it was a miscommunication. See, if someone gets really violent and then and if you feel, because I was trying to get Brian voted, there's a way that you can get someone voted out. Is if someone gets very violent with another house member, and then the majority of the house agrees that they are a threat to the health and safety. Safety is a better word. If everyone feels that the majority of the house feels that they are a threat to the safety of the roommates, then they can be sent home. But with Ashley, in that sense, that wasn't really. Ashley wanted to just know how the rest of the house would feel if she came back. And it was Jay's suggestion. He was like, "You want me to take a house vote or what? Like, what do you want me to do?" She's like, "Yeah, go ahead and do that." So there really wasn't. I remember I wanted to get Brian to go home so bad that I would instigate and try to get him to hit me to where I could be like, "Okay, I'm gonna." It was like a very much of like a challenge type tactic, or like Big Brother, or like some kind of voting off Survivor type shit. Like I was getting really political on that.
Okay, all right. So while all the stuff between you and Brian was going on, there was somehow even more drama going on in the house between Jay and Jenna. Was that really the same night, the same like hour that your stuff was going down? Was that the same night?
I would not know. I would not know. I had no idea what else was going on besides my drama that night. 100% of my focus was on that.
All right.
I had no idea when I was watching the episode. I'm like, really? Was that going on the same night? I had no idea. Wow.
So one of the big things from that kind of the breakdown between Jay and Jenna was Jamie stepping in, obviously, and trying to stand up for Jenna that she's being used, taken advantage of, or something like that. Did you get that sense between them two while they were in the house together that Jay was kind of stringing her along?
Jay's a playboy, and Jay is someone that, I mean, it's just kind of like, it's kind of jacked up because I know me personally, I think it's pretty freaking obvious that I would never put myself in Jenna's shoes. I would never, ever, 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 ever let a guy just sit there and kind of wait for his seal of approval to get the exclusivity status in the relationship. Hell to the nah. But for Jen, I mean, I don't really necessarily think that I go back and forth. Like Jay, I guess Jenna knew that they didn't have the status, so she couldn't technically get mad for him doing what he's done. It's not. I wouldn't say that it makes it right because I know I wouldn't put myself in that situation, but I think it's good if a guy, let's put it like this, if a guy is going to behave in that manner where he wants to, if he still needs the validation from women that he's still the shit and he's still got it in his pants and he's still good to go, if he needs that self-validation, then yeah, you should never put the title with any girl, and make sure that the girl that you're getting your emotional fixation from, your emotional fix, make sure that she's okay with what you're doing, and that, obviously what Jenna's doing, putting herself in a situation, is abusive to herself. He should go get a girl that's like kind of like him, in the sense where he doesn't care and she can go out and do the same thing. That's what Jay should have. But it just sounds like Jay wants to be like because the love between them is so cute and so innocent and just so cute, They I was rooting for them to get together, and I wanted Jenna to get the status. But at the same time, I could see where both of them were coming from. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Did you think it was right for Jamie to try to step in and speak up for Jenna? Like, it's not her relationship. She's obviously just met Jenna a few weeks ago, just met Jay 4 or 5 weeks ago. Do you think it was right for her to step in and intervene like that?
I don't know. I don't really have a strong opinion on that. Like, I believe that people should stay to just their own business. But if it was something that Jenna appreciated, then I'm all for it, I guess, because I'm just here for I wanted Jenna to be happy, but Jenna really needs to build that backbone on her own. And if she constantly has, there's a thing called enabling, and if somebody's going to come in and do the speaking for her, then that enables Jenna to ever build the backbone herself, if she's always having other people have the backbone for her. People need to let her learn from her mistakes. So I guess no, I don't think it was right. Now that I'm talking through my rationalization,
you can talk to that.
I think that I don't think that it was a good idea for Jamie to step in, because what this does is it enables Jenna to rely on other people to speak up for her when she needs to just do that on her own. She needs to learn that without the help.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that's fair assessment. And the other couple of the house that was starting to break down, well, not really the couple, but Thomas and Hailey, that whole love triangle with Thomas always getting jealous anytime Hailey's talking with anyone, whether it's like the German guy or anyone else. So why do you think in your mind that Thomas was getting so jealous of Hailey trying to just meet people or whatever when he's dating someone in the house? They're clearly exes. What do you think Thomas's mindset was during that whole
Tom is a young boy. I mean, he's not quite a man yet, and he's young. He can get away with it, I guess. But obviously, Tom is not over Hailey. I mean, it's very obvious. So if I was Jamie, I would have got the hell out. I would have been like, nope, and if I was Hailey, I would have kept going and dating other guys and be like, sorry, Tom, but you're with somebody else. I thought it was extremely, extremely hypocritical, and I think all of America would agree that it's extremely hypocritical of him to get on to Hailey for trying to move on. Like, why can't Hailey move on?
Exactly,
Like, why can't Hailey go? If you're moving on, why can't she? Like, if you didn't want to Tom is like, I had to talk with Tom in the park, and he said he just doesn't want to feel responsible for anybody else's feelings. And if that's the case, then don't put the title on it when you're right around your ex that you don't feel like she should move on. Obviously, your heart's still with her, so like, that's just
absolutely.
I don't know why he did that. It was so stupid.
And one of the other big things from this episode we kind of saw was the line being drawn pretty much between the originals and the exes, like almost, it was basically like World War II with those two. Was that a real palpable feeling that all the originals felt, that you just despise the exes being there, whether it's not just Brian, but just all the exes taking over the spotlight, I guess?
I'm not like, contrary to possible common belief, I don't feel the need to be in the spotlight 100% of the time. I didn't care that the exes were there. I only wanted Brian gone when he was pissing me off. Mm-hmm. But as far as the other exes, I could give a shit less if they were there or not. Like, I don't care either way. I don't feel like, and I remember there was a huge divide, and every other roommate will tell you, they will tell you, because it wasn't a secret. Like, I was one of the only, if not the only original that really just didn't give a shit whether the exes were there or not. When most of the originals were like, no, we want the exes gone. Hey, Ariel was cool with, Ashley being there. Yeah. If there was one other person, if you heard her. Because I saw it as an opportunity, because, like, also what probably didn't help was I was starting to feel this divide. I felt like I was very different than all the other roommates, like, as far as my personality goes. And Jamie, like, quote unquote, told me that sometimes I'm too much, is what she said. So there was a divide between me and the rest of the housemates. Before Brian got there, it was like me, Corey, and Ashley. We were all hanging out because we were all kind of like somewhat of a similar personality. We had some kind of, like when you're in high school, especially, I think of back in high school, there's these cliques of people. And I just felt like there was a clique forming, and you'll see this later. We talked about this specifically. Hopefully they air that part. There was a clique forming, and it was surrounded with like Jamie and Tom were like in the center of it, and then because me and Jamie were the strongest female personalities in the house that were like speaking the mind and whatever. And then Ariel was kind of like a floater. She kind of wasn't like on either one side. Like she was. That's why I love Ariel. She's not like a clique type person, but I felt this huge divide between all of them, and like it just seemed like everything that if they agreed with one thing, I didn't agree with it, and vice versa.
Yeah, it was topical. You could feel the tension there throughout the entire episode, all the originals and exes. So pretty crazy. So it was a very intense episode, but. So just kind of taking a step away from that, I just wanted to get a chance to find out a little more just about you, because we don't really get a chance to learn much about real-world people anymore on the show other than just seeing you, drop kick.
Cool, yeah.
So let me just kind of throw out just 5 completely off-the-ball questions just so we can learn a little bit more just about who you are, all right?
Okay.
All right, so first one, who is your favorite superhero?
Favorite superhero? Probably, I have several, but if I had to pick one, I guess it'd be Wonder Woman.
All right. Okay. Next, if you can go to any band's concert in their prime ever, who would it be?
If I could go to any what?
Any band's concert at any point in time.
EDC in Las Vegas.
All right. What's your favorite holiday?
Christmas, because it's full of love, joy, and happiness.
All right.
Oh, that or Halloween, because that's a creativity holiday. I love Halloween too. Shit, that's a tough one.
All right. I'll follow up on that one. What did you dress up as Halloween for this year?
Vampire. I don't know why I have this like obsession with like vampires. I'm a huge like Twilight fan and True Blood fan, and I have these fangs that I actually glue into my teeth, and I go all out, man. I put the Twilight contacts in, and I do contests and shit. I love being a vampire. But
go big or go home.
Jump around the corner and be like at people. It's fun. I love to scare shit out of people. I don't like the whole like happy horror Halloween holiday like whole idea. Like I was into that a while ago. But you can dress like a whore any day of the year. It doesn't have to be Halloween. So what makes that special? I'm a candy whore. Like like I got striped socks on. Like I'm from Candyland, and I blow all the candy dudes. I don't know, like whatever. I think it's more about being scary and the creativity part of it. I think that's more artistic and cool.
Yeah, embracing the spirit. I like that. Okay. And last one, let's take a page out of Brian's book. Have you had any dreams about saving the human race?
Do I have any dreams about saving the human race? That's what you asked me. Not really. Do I have any dreams about saving the human? No, I have a lot of dreams about. Actually, wait a minute. That's a lie. That's a straight lie. Well, I had a dream the other night actually about that. What was it? Brian, did I tell you what that dream was? Did I tell you what the dream was? I don't know what the dream was about.
Interesting. So you're with him right now. That's interesting.
Yeah, well, we're all here. We're going to shoot the reunion this weekend.
Oh, right. Yeah, it's on Sunday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm hoping to be able to go.
Huh?
I'm hoping to be able to go, but we'll see.
Oh, yeah, I hope you are too. Let's go back to the question, because I actually did have a dream the other night, but I just have to, it was something about, like, saving a shoe or bringing a shoe. Oh, it was actually, I wasn't saving the world. I was saving a guy's ass. We ran out of this is really weird. He ran out of toilet paper, and I had to go and get toilet paper from another bathroom, and I guess it was against the law to steal toilet paper from a stall. And on my way back, like I was getting a beer at this bar, and the bartender was taking forever, and then the sirens started going off, and they were like, somebody took the toilet paper, look around and find the person with the little white springy thing, and that was the indicator, and if you steal the toilet paper, you get the death sentence. And all I was trying to do was just deliver some toilet paper. I had no idea, and I had to decide whether I was going to just fess up and be like, dude, I had no idea it was against the law, I'm not from here, my bad, or if I was going to just hide it. So I hid it, and then I went into the bathroom, and I looked over, and that guy wasn't in the bathroom anymore. It was a decoy. He was like waiting for me to hand this guy the toilet paper, because they figured the person who stole it was going to hand the guy that was out of toilet paper the toilet paper. So I just stuck toilet paper in the toilet, and I stuck the springy thing in between the hole of the pipe in the wall, and then I came out, and then I woke up.
Wow. That is an unbelievable dream.
That was the most recent dream that I can remember of me saving anything.
All right. Wow. Very, very, very interesting. All right. I really appreciate talking to you. That's a very interesting way to end it. Where can people follow you on Twitter and all that?
At Instagram and Twitter, it's the same. It's at Jenny C. Delich. And my website is jennydelich.com. And from there, you can that's the easiest thing to remember, jennydelich.com, because from there you can click on the links of my YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, all right there on the front page.
Great. All right, it was a lot of fun talking to you. Looking forward to seeing what's in store for the rest of the season. Best of luck with your union.
Thank you so much.
All right, bye.
All right, bye-bye.
There it is. The Bus Drivers Are Out podcast is in the books. Hope you all enjoyed my chat with Jenny. I hope you all get a little more of a sense of what went down in this week's very exciting episode. So that will just about do it for me. But first, let me just remind you to follow me on Twitter at Bus Drivers Are Out. Go to busdriversroute.com and subscribe to my YouTube channel. All right, that will do it for me. So until next time, have a good one.